Well, good evening, gang, and welcome to It's All About Arts. My name is Glenn Williams, and I'm your host. And to my right and to your left, of course, is the lovely Valerie Eliason. Hi, Val. How are you?
Hi, Glenn. I'm great. How are you?
Very, very well. And we're coming to you live from our beautiful studios here at BNN-TV, and you're more than welcome to join us if you'd like. We're at 617-708-3290. That'll get you right to the staff, the great staff of BNN-TV's Studio B. Answering the phone in the other room, you can join us and let us know what is going on in your artful life.
Absolutely.
You did a great job last week. I
Thank
want to take the time to tell you that it was a great show.
Thank you, and thanks, Miles, for
Yes,
helping
Miles
me.
was great to have him sitting in.
Yeah, it was nice.
Yeah.
You're
enjoying doing that.
Guy. Yeah.
That's good.
Yes. It was a good time. How was the WGBH meeting?
The WGBH meeting was very informative. It was nice. We were talking about political coverage.
Okay.
And we were talking about the different ways that the media covers the political scene and all the debates and stuff. And we're very, very excited. GBH is going to be in New Hampshire, right in the Radisson Hotel lobby for the primary. So they were talking to us about that, informing us, keeping us apprised of what's going on, and being very, very interested in what we were doing. So, on how they should do it and giving them some of our suggestions. It's fun. I love being involved over at GBH. It's kind of really cool.
Yeah. Oh man, they do so much within the city.
Yeah. And they feed us really well.
I bet those dinners are very delicious.
And it's the people that are in the room. I mean, you kind of get to these meetings and you sit around, look around, and you see the distinguished people around the table, and you go, "What am I doing? Why am I here?" But it's nice that everybody gets an opportunity to participate. I mean, the news director for WGBH is sitting right here and asking us what our opinion is, and I think that's really, really nice.
I think your opinion is very important.
Oh, thank you. It was good. It was fun. How about yourself? What's going on with you?
Oh, geez. So I don't think I've seen you since I went to Arkansas.
No, I have not seen you since Arkansas.
It was great. Got to see some amazing street artists there. We went to Fort Smith. Recently, they had commissioned a couple artists. Roa was one of them. He does those black and white animal murals that are like 4 stories high.
Amazing.
So many.
I saw some of the work you posted.
Yeah, I posted some on It's All About Arts. I shared it.
It's amazing.
Yeah, they were really, there was one artist that actually chips away in the side of the building and carves the images into the, they were awesome. It was like being in a museum, just walking around the town.
How was your trip out there?
It was good, it was easy. Yeah, flight was really easy. Yes, not drive.
Not drive. At some point, I think in our life, super producer Janice and I are going to get an RV and take 2 months and
cross country,
drive up the north side and drive back the south side.
Yeah.
I just think I want to do that, doesn't it? Tally, it just sounds like something that would be an adventure for us. We'd get to take our time and see some great things.
Definitely stuff you can't see from a plane.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
Yeah, and I think that I've already got half of my stops mapped out. Not that we're going anywhere soon. Yeah. Not that any of that's gonna be happening soon. But we still have our lives very busy.
Good.
I haven't seen you since Open Studios.
I know. How was it?
It was a huge success. I mean, all over the section, our section of Boston, Rosendale was packed.
Yeah.
With people that were just out to enjoy art.
That's awesome. I love that.
Yeah. Janice did had a great Open Studios. She moved a lot of material. I sold half a CD. That was it. But I've sold paintings in the past, so I've done very well, and Janice hasn't moved much, but she did a fantastic.
That's awesome.
And I want to thank everybody that came out to visit we had a constant flow of people.
Studio 99?
Art Studio 99. It was very, very nice to have people being there and visiting us and spending time, coming in and sitting and relaxing and enjoying the day. So that was fun.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I went down to the farmers market in the morning So I could feel the vibe because the buzz was starting and people were starting to get ready to get about and around. So it worked out really, really well. We missed you. It would have been nice.
I know. If I wasn't at I would have been there.
Yeah, I went. I'm sure you would have, but that's okay.
Yeah.
I understand.
Next year.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Next year, you're doing it. I'm going to make sure you get in next year.
I'm not going to miss the deadline again.
No. We got to get you into that because I know your art and I know your work. People will enjoy it. And you're in a strategic part of Rosendale. So that section of Rosendale is teeming with people and all just hitting the Arboretum and going all through that whole area. There must be, I'll bet 30% of the artists are over there. Sure, easily. You know, so there's lots and lots of cool places to visit. And it's all in-house stuff.
Yeah.
Which is the part of Open Studios that I really enjoy. I think that this whole thing about public areas and big shows, and that's great and that's cool. Mm-hmm. But the part that I enjoy is kind of roaming around town and stopping into people's, studios and where they work.
Yeah, get to see a little bit more behind the scenes. Yeah.
So, what was the most difficult part of doing the show last week?
Oh, geez.
Because I watched it. It seemed to be pretty seamless.
You think so?
Yeah, I thought it was very good.
I guess, it makes it very easy when I have someone else here.
Yeah, sure. It most certainly does.
Yeah. I can get a little tongue-tied sometimes.
No, you're fine.
Oh, thank you. Gosh, I think the hardest part of doing the show was not getting off topic too much. I tend to wander.
You can. It's very simple to do.
Yeah.
To start, moving off into other directions. That's why it's great to have that Miles sitting there to kind of bounce things off. And you had a great guest.
Yes. It was so great to have Eleanor back on the show.
Yes, and Eleanor is such a great artist, and it was so much fun to have her on before, and I knew she would be good for you. And she was the only guest, so you kind of got to spend some time with her.
Yeah, which was awesome. She has so much to say.
Yeah. Well, I love those guests where you just kind of drop the question and then you sit back and let them go.
Yes.
Those are always my favorite.
Yeah.
My favorite ones.
Absolutely. What about you? What are you
Well,
up to?
I've been writing a little bit.
Nice, for the CD?
Yeah, that CD's done. That's finalized. And Low Budget Records is coming out. Everyone's in, I guess I can tell people. It's going to really happen. We're doing the Rolling Stones compilation.
That's so exciting. We
started off with a Beatles compilation about 4 years ago, and people kind of contributed to that, and it was great. It was a great project. And then we did the Monkees. And I know I smile and kind of chuckle every time I do that, but as I was going through the catalog of music, picking music I wanted to, it's great stuff.
Yeah.
So the music was great. And so that compilation was a little bigger. And then we announced that we're going to do the Rolling Stones, and now it's going to be a double CD. It's going to be huge. And it's all local Boston musicians, New England musicians that have come through Low Budget Records at one point or another. We're all going to be doing this, and then of course we have our big CD release party at some point.
That's so cool. Any specific songs? What are your favorite?
I'm doing Angie on the ukulele.
Oh wow, that'll be awesome.
And I think that's a little bit of a challenge for me, but I think that it'll be okay.
Challenge is good.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
And then I'm doing Melody.
Yes.
It was a second name, Melody. It's a real bluesy blues thing with Billy Preston in the back. Not in my studio. Billy Preston did it with the Rolling Stones. But I'm grabbing all my blues friends to come in and play on that one, so it'll be a lot of fun.
I can't wait to hear it.
Yeah, it's going to be cool.
Good.
Why don't we, something, we got a great show. We got two great artists.
Yeah, we do.
Two fabulous artists to talk to tonight, and there's a Val's View.
Yep, definitely. Val's View.
Great. Do you have any plans this week coming up?
Oh, well, I did just go to the MFA. They have a great exhibit going
you see at the MFA?
The Dutch Masters.
Yes.
They have some great
Rembrandt, right? Isn't
Rembrandt.
He's in there?
Yep, he's in there. Vermeer's in there. A lot of beautiful stuff.
Timing is everything.
It's downstairs under the cafe.
That's a great gallery down there.
I love it. The lighting is amazing. It's just the spaces.
With what's going on in the world, I guess seeing some French artists is the thing to do, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a shame that there are things going on around us that that I know that if you sat and did some art with some people, it would help out an awful lot.
Yeah.
It's just turning I'm sitting with the kids today in class, and I've got, a 5-year-old and a 6-year-old wanting to know what's going on, and I have to be very, very careful, because I don't know what the parents have done at home, if they've sheltered them from it,
Yes.
And I just say, well, there's people that are having major disagreements, and they're acting irrational a little bit.
Yes.
And I don't know what else to say. The older kids you can have a more deeper conversation with, but the babies, when the baby's asking, you go,
Yeah.
what do you say? I mean, you want to be honest, but you don't want them to jade them towards what the world is all about. They're just too young. They want to color. So we started doing Christmas cards.
All right.
We're making Christmas cards for senior citizens.
That's
There's
wonderful.
a program in Boston called Meals on Wheels.
Yeah.
And
I know that program.
every year we work with Ethos and send them about 600, 700 Christmas cards that they slide into the Meals on Wheels.
That's
So a little bit of
wonderful.
love from the kids at Sacred Heart. So we started doing that today. I figured that would probably be a better thing to do.
Yeah, I'd
do
say.
all that. We're going to take a couple minutes to talk about our great friends and the people that keep us here at BNN. We love them dearly, and all of the things that they do around this amazing city of ours, Boston Main Street. Boston Main Street is that volunteer-driven organization that helps revitalize the business districts. I talked to the executive director in Rosendale. She has promised to come on.
Good.
And she's going to come on and kind of sit with us at an opening in the near future and talk a little bit about, about Main Streets. I think, you cats hear me talk about it all the time, but I think taking it from somebody who's sitting and living it every day is going to be much more beneficial. And we're hoping that it'll start bringing some of the other directors in to come and talk.
Yes.
But what they do is they help revitalize the business district. But that's not, I've been saying that, and that is true, but I think that they do several other things as well. They galvanize the community. Mm-hmm. I mean, they bring people down to some amazing events like the tree lighting, which is coming up. They're going to be lighting the tree in Adams Park the Saturday before Thanksgiving.
Are you hosting that?
No, I'm not. I'm going to be in Portland, Maine.
Okay.
Super producer Janice and I are going away for Thanksgiving.
All right, that sounds nice. Portland's a great area.
Yes, we got a hotel room looking out over the ocean. And
Oh, wonderful.
we're going to go. One thing we're going to do is go to the Portland Museum. Then the rest of the time we're just going to look at the ocean.
Portland Museum of Art is awesome.
It's supposed to be fabulous.
Yeah, I went there last spring when I went up to Portland. It was great.
Yeah, I've never been to Maine. It's
Oh.
north, right?
I think it's
Do I have to go through
east.
Manchester by the sea to get there? Okay. But we're looking forward to doing that. It's going to be a lot of fun to do that,
Awesome.
just for us to get away and kind of be together for, we don't. Our
Yeah.
schedules are just so that it's impossible to get away.
You gotta take time for yourself.
Yeah, even though it's only 3 days, but we're going to do it. We're going to do it, and it's going to be fun. But anyways, Main Streets, what they do is they help galvanize the community by bringing people down to these amazing events. The tree lighting is the Saturday after Thanksgiving down at Adams Park, and it draws hundreds and hundreds of people from the community to come down.
Yeah.
The Sacred Heart Choir is going to be singing. Nutcracker is going to be performing. Urban Nutcracker is coming down to perform in Adams Park and Rosendale
That's
Square.
awesome.
Yeah, so there's all the mayor, the great mayor of the city is going to be there. All these people are going to be there. But what it does is it gets you out with your neighbors to see some cool things.
Mm-hmm.
So that's one of the things that Main Streets does. And the other thing it does is it helps support us here at BNN-TV.
Yeah.
And we're very, very appreciative of everything that they do for our community. So if you see somebody with a Main Street t-shirt, and you're gonna, because this is the season they're out on the street doing their thing and
Absolutely.
keeping people happy, please tell them that Valerie, Eliason, and Glenn Williams say thank you very much, because they're only doing what they do because they love their community.
Absolutely.
So we want to make sure you let them know how we feel.
Give them some love.
Absolutely. Absolutely. The only other thing we talk about is this amazing building. One of our guests was asking me, what is this place? What did this used to be? It used to be the power station for the MBTA when the Orange Line, all you old-time Bostonians know the Orange Line, the Rattler we used to call it, went from Forest Hills downtown Boston. It was the way to get in town, and it was powered by this power station. Big, huge generators humming away in here, and it would that's where they get the electricity. Someone figured out that it was easier to run an extension cord, so they just kind of a little more to them.
It's a long extension.
It's a long extension cord. And this kind of sat unused, this building, for many, many, many years, 20, 25 years, 30 years. And BNN purchased it. And we fixed the whole thing. We've built it out from the inside out, built a little building inside, put these two great studios in here, Studio A and Studio B, where we are. And this is where people get to come and do community access television. It's a space where nonprofits can come and do their programming and invite a guest in to talk about what their nonprofit is. It's a place where you can come and do programming about what your church is doing. It's about where you can come and talk about your different kind of, what your mission statement is. So this is the place to come and do it. There's another studio, Studio A, which is you become a member and you take some great courses in Final Cut Pro, and it's where producers get to produce their own, why don't we take a switch? We're going to turn over to that station right now and just check out what's going on in Studio B. Let's take a look and see what's happening over there.
From Tim Casey, Roslindale, Massachusetts. I've been watching the Movie Loft for years and have greatly appreciated your usually good selection of movies. However, I have noticed lately that during commercial breaks, your Movie Loft logo displays upcoming scenes instead of scenes which have already occurred. Could you please stop doing this, since it sometimes tells the viewer what will be happening next, destroying any continuity in the narrative?
A copy of this letter was given to Buffalo Bob Ecker, who produces the Movie Loft. We've received this complaint a couple of times over the past several weeks.
Well, as you can see, they're over there talking about movies today. That's very, very cool. But that is where you get to take all these Final Cut Pro courses in cameras, courses in lighting, courses in all kinds of different things in television production. And you edit it in Timothy Smith studio laboratory downstairs where all the state-of-the-art Macs are and stuff, and they put it on TV.
Yep.
So if you're interested in doing something like that, and I think you should be, go to www.bnntv.org.
Janice Williams.
Click on Janice Williams or Jim Atwood's name. And they have all the information you need to become a member here and to become a producer here at BNN-TV. Tomorrow night, the 17th, is their annual meeting. It's going to be right here. If you go to the website, www.bnntv.org, you can get information on how to come and get a little more information tomorrow night. Tomorrow night's a good night to probably visit here to get some more information on BNN-TV. The other thing that's going on there is we are streaming live.
Yes.
There. So I know that we have some new people that have been tuning in, and I got some great emails from Peter and Claire outside of Houston, Texas.
No kidding.
Yes, their cousin or somebody was on the show a few weeks ago, and I got this nice little email saying, "Oh, I saw my cousin on your show. I really enjoyed it." So
Thanks, Peter and Claire.
Yes, these things never cease to amaze me that we're reaching out we're making those kind of commitments.
Me too.
So it's pretty cool.
That's awesome.
So you got a Val's View this week?
I got a good Val's View. Very holiday-oriented.
Oh, I love it. I love holiday Val's View. Listen, gang, you're watching BNN-TV. My name is Glenn. This is
Valerie.
We'll be back in just a couple of minutes, live from Studio B. Please, do not go away. We'll be back in just a couple of minutes. Thanks.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3.
Well, welcome back, gang. Thanks an awful lot for hanging in there with us here at BNN-TV's It's All About Arts. My name is Glenn Williams. I'm the host. We're coming to you live from Studio B. And if you want to give us a call, you can. We're at 617-708-3290. I want to remind everybody that this show will be available tonight on YouTube. If you go to your YouTube station and type in It's All About Arts and the number 1, you'll be able to see this program and many programs in the past. We go back bunch of years on there. There's some olden but goldens on there to check out. They're always really cool. And also you can go to our Facebook page. Facebook, it's All About Arts. If you just type that in, you'll get to us. And you'll see Val and I looking back at you. So that's the place to go to check out what we've been doing. That Facebook page has more than just this program on it. There are so many things that are art-related, that are what's going on around the city of Boston. This is the place to go. But right now, it's time for our weekly installment of a great segment of this program, which you, by the way, can read also on the Boston City paper. We have the inside flap of that paper, has all of the arts things going on, and Val's view is prominently shown there. You can check out what she's doing, but this is the place to see it and hear it and have her do it live for you. So right now, it's time for another great installment of Val's View.
Well, thanks, Glenn. That's true. This is where you hear it first. This is where you get all the good information. So get ready to have everything and everyone checked off on your holiday shopping list with this Val's View. Definitely focused around getting that gift buying out of the way. So first on our list, we have Christmaka going on at SOA. Little play on words there, Christmas and Hanukkah, obviously. It's going on for 3 days from December 4th to the 6th. So it's right in the same area that the SOA the SOA event usually is at on every Sunday at 450 Harrison Ave in the South End. The shopping season is certainly upon us. You don't have to wait till Black Friday. I think I have most of my holiday shopping done. I hate going to the malls. So for me, the best part of shopping for my friends and family is shopping local. I love getting unique items and gifts that were crafted by local artists in Boston and supporting the art communities in Boston. There's going to be over 50 local artists and 60 boutiques and galleries. And these are local Boston artists. Like I mentioned, local shop owners. They could even be your neighbors. For all you know, maybe your neighbor a couple houses down is a really great watercolor painter and get some handmade Christmas cards for mom and dad. So the festival is free, so definitely want to check that out, and it will certainly put you in the holiday spirit. Best of all, you'll get to see some of the greatest and most talented people in the city, the people that really make Boston the amazing city that it is. So second on our list, we have the Western Ave Holiday Open Studios. It's going on December 5th and 6th. Vernon Street Studios in Somerville. I want to give you guys plenty of options for holiday shopping. So we have some amazing artists, artisans, and local businesses at this Open Studios. The Open Studios is free, as is all the Open Studios around the city, and open to the public, of course. So it features amazing artists, as do every Open Studios in the city. You've got sculptors, painters, photographers, you name it, they'll be there. I don't think anyone who's been to an Open Studios hasn't enjoyed it, so if you haven't gone yet this year, definitely go check it out. So the artists of Vernon Street are going to open up their doors, and like Glenn and I were talking about, it's really great to see sort of behind the scenes the artists' intimate workspaces, and see what makes them tick, and see maybe how messy they keep their spaces, or if they have paintbrushes in their pockets. Check out Glenn's pocket when we flip back over to him. So definitely go check that out if you have the chance. And last, but certainly not least, we have the Craft Boston Holiday 2015 event. Now that's going on December 11th through the 13th at the Heinz Convention Center. So Boston Holiday Festival is certainly an impressive 3-day convention. Heinz Convention Center is a huge venue, a very impressive venue to have all these these craftswomen, artists come together. There's jewelry, hand-blown glass, sculptures, and really beautiful pieces of artwork. You'll get to shop and explore and meet all these different artists from all over the place, not just Boston. It's an incredibly creative environment, and there's actually also going to be wonderful lectures from some of the artists. There's going to be a fun guest, a little surprise celebrity guest, and if any of you are a fan of Parks and Recreations, the TV show, Nick Offerman, who plays Ron Swanson on the show, is going to be there. As well as on the show, he's a carpenter, but he's actually a carpenter in real life. So he's going to be doing a book signing. You'll get to meet him, see some of his works as well. So if you're looking for tickets to that, you should buy them in advance. I don't believe they might be available at the door. I'm not sure. Don't quote me on that. But definitely go check them out online. So hopefully with that list, you got everything: mom, dad, grandpa, grandma, all your cousins, nieces, nephews, aunts and uncles, everyone checked off on your list. Go out and support the local Boston artists and support the community. It's always a great thing to do. So I'm going to throw it back to Glenn. We have a great show, great artists coming up to interview. So without further ado, I'm going to throw it over to you, Glenn.
Thank you, Valerie. That was great. Thanks for another great Val's View. Val's View has become a very popular part of this program. We get lots of great responses because Val has her finger on the pulse of the art life here in Boston. But speaking of the art life here in Boston, it is my great pleasure and an honor to have back Tally Forbes. Thank you, old friend. Thank you for coming back. How are you?
I'm well, thank you.
Good. You
it's
look
a pleasure
great.
to be back here.
Well, I guess we didn't beat you up enough last time.
No, I guess you didn't. No, what the heck? Let's go
We'll
see.
try again.
Let's see what's going on.
How are you?
I'm well, thank you.
That's great. You're a fabulous painter and
thank
artist,
you.
and it was a pleasure having you on. Boy, it's been a couple of years now.
It has, I think.
It's been
yeah.
a while.
Yeah.
How
yeah.
have you been?
I've been well. I've been having a good time with life and
Good.
doing a lot of painting and
Great.
playing around with different styles
You
and
just
having a good time.
That's one of the things we're going to get into. You've kind of taken a change a little bit.
Changing around a little bit. Yeah.
Trying something new.
Yep, exactly.
It's not new, but it's new to you.
It's new to me, that's for sure.
And it's you're entirely different. Talk a little bit about the kind of traditional artist that you were.
Well, yeah,
Well, no,
I think
you still are. I mean, it's not that you weren't.
well, I keep flipping back and
Yeah,
forth. Yeah. So when I was last here, I think I was doing a lot of landscapes.
Yeah,
I remember showing a landscape, and then I kind of progressed along. I'm lucky enough to be doing a lot of traveling now. I retired about 10 years ago, and I figured now's the time.
Get it out.
So I love to sketch when I'm traveling, and I come home with, 10 new sketches and then spend some time figuring about how to make those come alive.
That's great. That's great.
And so that kind of led me from getting away from just taking a photograph and trying to copy that, or even copy it and add my piece to it, to some more new stuff. Oh, I see. Oh,
We'll be checking it out in a minute. Let's talk a little bit first.
Yeah, so I'm just experimenting more with getting away from reality and trying to figure out what my reality is, you know, and looking at these hands and saying, so what do you want to say?
Yeah.
That's the thing, don't you think? What do you want to say?
Abstract painting is a definite skill. And people sometimes look at it and go, "Oh, all you're doing is just throwing the paint around." There's a lot more.
There's a little purpose to it,
don't you think? A
little
bit more than that. Absolutely, there is. I have to think through a piece much more than if I was doing a landscape or a portrait.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
So that's interesting because what's happened to me in the last year that I'm playing with is not having any sense of what the final piece is.
Oh, it's an adventure for you.
So it's an adventure.
That's great.
You make the first mark and see where that takes you with the second mark.
That's fabulous.
And I tell you, there's a level of fear before I begin every single time. And then I know I'm rolling when you know, oh, I know what I want to do next.
Yep.
And then I get about halfway through and I say, what the heck is this, you know?
What are you working with? Are you working with acrylics?
I'm working with acrylic.
Yeah, so that's kind
Because
of
it dries fast.
Yeah, it's easy to
You know,
move.
I can change my mind a lot.
Yeah, go right
That's
over it.
really important for me.
They're designed to paint that way for that reason.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, you know, so that's been really a fun adventure.
Has it been enjoyable for you? I mean, it's a little less
Absolutely.
control,
Yeah.
and it is a little fearful. I mean,
Yeah.
it is a...
Well, the fear, I now know that the fear thing is just there for me.
Yeah, yeah.
So, and in fact, I go through, I'll get on a roll of something I'm doing, and then suddenly everything goes wrong.
Yeah.
And there's that fear of getting started again, and, you know, what am I doing? Thinking
Are you
I'm
finishing a
painter.
piece right away?
No.
So you'll be
lot
working
of
on a
times-
couple of pieces at a time?
Frequently.
Yeah.
Frequently.
Yeah.
A lot of times. You know, sometimes it'll just become clear right away.
Mm-hmm.
I've had a couple of still lifes I've done in the last couple of years, big ones, that just kind of fell out of me.
Right.
You know,
No, I
and they were
understand.
done in a flash.
Right.
But a lot of times now I find I'm working on one or two things, and luckily I still have my studio in my house, so I walk through and say, oh, I've got to fix that, you know. That seems to be the way I like to work.
It's nice to have your working environment close
Right.
to your living environment, because you can
Right.
kind of, it's just a phrase, but it's kind of true. Roll out of bed and see that thing.
See that thing, say, oh my
I
God.
got to hit that.
Yeah. Yeah.
See, I'm a little different. I noodle a thing, and then I go and do it in 20 minutes.
Well, so
Boom,
and we're
boom,
probably
get-
not all that different. If we were to work side by side,
Yeah.
what I do is I fuss around with, like today, I spent, before I kind of dared go in and actually apply paint, I rearranged the whole table I work on, you know, put new paint in, all this stuff, and finally I get sort of disgusted with myself at
Yeah.
a certain point and say, come on, get to it.
Right. Well,
And so that's
abstract
what I
painting
did.
is emotional.
And then it all just blurted out.
Yeah.
It was great.
But it is emotional. I mean, you do
Right.
have to be in a certain frame of mind.
I think
you know,
so.
I don't know if you're listening to gangster rap music at the
No,
time, or Death Leppard.
dead quiet for me.
Is it?
How about you?
You know something? When I do a piece, when I'm down, I throw sometimes.
Yeah.
I have a space in my cellar that I can light just the piece.
Oh, great.
Everything else is black.
Ah, dramatic.
Yes, and it is. And I have some rocking in the other room, and I sit there with this black area and the screen here, and I measure how far away I am, and I throw.
And you throw it. Good
Yeah,
for you. That's great.
And then I take it and I have to go like this. Let me see.
Yeah.
Is it this way? Is it this?
Right.
Ooh, there it is.
Uh-huh.
You know, so it's kind of like an adventure sometimes for me like that too.
Well, so for me, instead of, and yeah, I guess I'm throwing it, except a lot of times I'll work, if I'm doing a big piece,
Yeah.
I work on the floor. I mean,
Okay.
the painting's on
Pollock
the floor.
style.
Yeah, me and Pollock.
Yeah.
Exactly. And it's because then you can use your whole arm.
Yeah. And
I
you can
like
get
that.
away from it too.
Yeah.
And you can walk around it.
Yeah.
Why don't we
Once in a-
take a look at some of your pieces?
Oh, okay.
I think it's time to see some of
Great.
your new work. That
Okay.
sounds exciting.
So I bet you have no idea what that's called.
It's beautiful.
Well, it's called eucalyptus.
Is it?
And now,
Okay.
if you think about it, the eucalyptus bark is what set me off to work on this piece. And I was out in California for 6 weeks last winter because a couple of my kids live out there. And so I just did a lot of real loose stuff. And the eucalyptus bark, which is, of course, all over California, we
Yeah.
don't have any of it back here. But I just was taken by the colors. Now, that's a more extreme version of the colors.
Yeah.
But I just found myself doing just kind of
Getting it
like
in.
stripes.
Yep.
And it was all on one sheet of paper. Now, if you look really closely, you'll see I've cut it.
Yeah.
And there's 4 sections.
Yeah.
And then behind the 4 sections are some stripes of almost like tin foil.
I see that.
So I was kind of thinking the light that comes through trees. I'm just playing with it.
This has got to have dimension then. When you're
Well-
walking past it, it must talk to you.
Well, I'll tell you what else. It's a work on paper, but it's acrylic paint.
Yeah.
I had it mounted on foam core, so it sticks out from the canvas.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
I like it.
I do too. Let's
I'm
see another
pleased with
piece.
it.
Can we have another piece, please? Thank you.
Oh, there we go. Okay, now those of you who've been in California, this is my version of Lombard Street, which is that famous
Yeah,
street
yeah.
that goes so curly-Q that you can barely drive down it.
Right.
So I was playing around with a group of people. We were looking at Australian Aboriginal painting,
Yeah.
where they do a lot of patterned dots and stuff like that.
Yeah, yeah.
And after this conversation, this thing just kind of, talk about fast.
Yeah.
This is half an hour.
Yeah.
And the piece is...
I love the tree in the distance.
Thanks. I know, it's a riot, isn't it?
Isn't that great? It's awesome.
Yeah. So that was, you know, so I did 2 or 3 like that, and then I kind of lost interest in that
Right,
and
right.
moved on to
Okay,
other things.
we've got to kind of move along. Let's see what else we've got here.
It should be about 3 more.
Okay.
So this, again, was a work started on paper.
Yeah.
On the upper left, you see the big circle?
Yeah.
That's a clock.
Yes.
And I was thinking about time. And as I get older, I think about time more and more.
Is that the truth?
So there's some writing there which you can't really see on the left-hand side, and it talks about time is going past and the adventure begins here,
Okay.
or something.
Okay.
So that was what I was playing with, and this one is called Selfie because it was once a really lousy self-portrait.
You cut it up and made
I
the puzzle
tore it
out
up
of it?
and wove it together.
That's excellent.
Yeah.
That is such
So-
a cool idea.
There's maybe a couple more. Okay, yeah, I was eager for you to see this. I just got back from a wonderful trip in Germany.
Nice.
And this is the kind of sketching I do when
Yeah.
I'm there.
That's your book, actually. Isn't it that wound on the left-hand side?
Yeah, that's my sketchbook.
Yeah, yeah.
So I do maybe 10 or so of those. So what I'm doing at home right now is working on larger versions of this.
It's beautiful work.
And it sets me off. It's fun. I love doing it.
I love it. That's fantastic.
Thank you.
Do you have a show coming up?
No, I just took one down.
You took one down from Susan Schultz's
Exactly.
place, right? Yeah.
Just took one down this afternoon. So I got
We
a
won't
few.
say where it is.
Yeah. Actually, it's in my car right now. It's ready to travel if you got any ideas.
I know, I hear you. How do people get in touch with you? What's the website they can get in contact with?
So I've set up a gallery on Facebook.
Yeah.
It's called Tally Forbes Gallery.
That's excellent.
TALLYFORBES Gallery.
We're gonna link that link up to your
Great.
name on our It's All About
Wonderful.
Arts page.
That's great.
And people will get
And
a
the best
chance.
way to contact me, I'm also Tally Forbes. I have my own Facebook page.
Right,
So
right.
that's the best way to contact me.
Tell, thank you so
You're
much for
very
being
welcome.
here. It's always a pleasure.
It's a delight
I'm
to
so
see you.
excited about your new adventure.
Thank you.
It looks great.
I want to see your work too.
Don't be a stranger so long. Come
All
back
right.
sooner, will you?
Okay, great.
Listen, gang, we'll be right back. Oh, no, don't
I'll
walk
stay
away
there.
yet. Listen, we've got another great guest coming up right in just one moment. So don't go away, gang. We'll be right back in 1 second. Thank you. welcome back, gang. Thanks for hanging in there with us. What a great interview. It's so much fun to talk to Tally. She's been with us in the past, and I'm guaranteeing she'll be back again with some more of her new work. We'll let you know when she's going to be showing someplace. That's going to be an awful lot of fun to go and see. But right now, we've got a new guest. It's my great pleasure to introduce everybody in our BNN land to Helen Kamins.
Kamins,
Helen,
yeah.
how are you?
Very good, thank you.
Thank you for coming in to visit with us.
Thanks for having me.
No, I really appreciate it. One of the questions I like to ask our new guests whenever someone's come on for the first time is, if you were designing a web page or something and you had this pull-down menu of the kind of artist you are, aside from great and famous, of course, but if you had to put a category behind
Yeah, that's a good question. I actually have a website, and
Yeah.
I struggle with it because there's a little bit too many categories.
Yeah, there's too many categories for you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
for
I
me.
know there are. I mean, you've done.
Yeah.
You do a lot of portraiture, some beautiful portraiture work, which we're
Yeah.
going to get a chance to see. You've also done some
Book designs.
Some book designs. These are
Yeah.
really cool. I love these.
And then self-published a book.
Yeah.
And
Did you write the book?
my friend wrote the book.
Oh, yeah.
And it's the experiences of my rescue dog, actually. So it's a nonfiction.
Well, I have a great rescue dog story for you.
And he was keeping notes when we try and take her to, go on walks and try and socialize her, because she was very shy. She was rescued, and so it inspired us to do a book.
That's great. That's fabulous. But you're primarily a painter.
A fine artist,
Fine
yeah.
artist.
I think.
So fine art would probably be
Fine
one
art.
of the categories.
Yes.
Portraiture.
Yes. Basically, I started with a Bachelor of Fine Arts degree, and I specialized in printmaking, actually, because
Oh,
I was
really?
very much an illustrator, and that was pretty much the most conducive thing within the Bachelor of Fine Arts program. So but I did a lot of painting there, and then graduated and needed to get a job, of course, pay the rent.
Gotta live.
Gotta live. So I did quite a bit of work doing commercial art, graphic design, and then that sort of morphed into corporate art directorship, and worked
So
in.
you've been in the arts your whole career.
Yes.
That's fabulous. Not everybody can say that. That's great.
Right. Yeah. It's exhausting, but
Is it ever?
Where do you find your favorite place to be? Because I know working sometimes with the corporations, you
Yeah.
are limited. Your creativity is a little bit limited.
Absolutely. Well, when I was working with, I actually did computer graphics in the very beginning, because when I was with this corporation, it was actually for a printing company that dealt with printing on a three-dimensional, non-absorbent package design.
Oh.
And we had like so many projects going on simultaneously, and I kind of got it down to a system, and I was like, okay, and this is when we used to do cut and paste,
Yes.
serious
Yeah.
stuff,
Yeah.
I'd go to church and you could read my soul, because there'd be like little wandads,
Stuck all over.
wandads on the bottom. It's really embarrassing.
That was funny. You go to church and you could read your
Read
soul.
my soul.
Someone write that down.
That's a mouthful.
All right, that's my one joke. But
That was a good one too.
thank you. And so I pretty much got that down, and then I thought, well, what's the most state-of-the-art technology? And it was computer graphics.
Yeah.
And so we're talking like 79, 80, 81.
Yeah.
And I hooked up with some really brilliant programmers at BU.
Well, the eve of that kind of design. I mean, that's when it all started to get pulled together.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I'm proud to say that, I was able to, I did a lot of consulting.
That's
I traveled
great.
around the country, and because I was one of the few people that actually did it. So I'd go into a company like General Electric, and they had, these large corporations would typically have a large budget for state-of-the-art technology. They had to spend the money.
Or they wouldn't
so
get
I
it
said,
back.
all right,
Yeah, I'll take it
that's
from you.
right. So I would go in and kind of show them computer graphics, and then see which employees, which artists might be conducive to that technology. And
But what's your medium now? What are you doing now? What are you doing today?
I'm doing oil portraits. That's my representational kind of work, and then I've been actually involved with a lot of watercolors, which have always been.
Oils to water. Hey.
Well, watercolors have usually been my to sketch, to
Yeah,
get
yeah.
a concept down, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
Like I'll draw, and then if I want to add some color, I would, you know, do that. But the last few times I've done some, there's a gallery in Florida actually that I'm becoming affiliated with,
Yeah.
and they were really drawn to it.
Is it a watercolor?
Yeah.
Really? That's fabulous.
Yeah, so,
See, I usually get brown paper when I use watercolor.
well, the thing is, watercolor is like a completely different
All the
field.
way on
I
the
mean,
other
there's
side.
like,
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
there are watercolor artists, then there's societies and so forth. So by no means do I think I'm a watercolor artist, but I guess, you know, that's where I do a little more abstract or
Right.
spontaneous kind of things.
Well, I think we should look at some of your work.
Okay.
We've got a couple of pictures to look
All
at. I love this first one.
Okay, well, this is actually a room divider. It's quite large. It's about 6 feet by maybe 2.5 feet per panel. And
Oh, it's like a partition?
exactly.
Oh, that's beautiful.
And you can see here it's presented so that you could see the illustration, but you know, it stands alone in a
Yeah,
room.
yeah.
It's stunning.
So this was inspired by, there was an antique room divider that I purchased and wanted to kind of resurrect it, but it was done, the paintings were done on like homosote, so it just
Yep.
fell apart. So I decided to do my own renderings on birch wood.
Nice.
And, yeah.
Nice.
So
And is it oil?
that is acrylic
That's
because,
acrylic.
you know, with the layers of varnish and so forth.
course.
And but I've maintained the integrity of the original frames.
That's beautiful.
I stripped them and kept them. Yep.
Okay.
And this
Wow.
is a 30-inch square oil painting. And this one was inspired by, I was lucky enough to be asked to paint in Provence, France,
wow.
for a couple of weeks. And in return, the owners of the estate just picked their top 3 paintings. So
I'd say that's a pretty
yeah, it was
fair
pretty
trade-off.
good. It's taken a while to get to that point, but
It's such a unique color palette you chose here.
well, thank you. It's and then this is kind of like, because I can do the representational stuff. I've done that my whole life. Now I'm starting to enjoy, you know, color and just kind of what I want to do rather than like what's expected.
Yes.
And this is I
That
want to.
seems to be the theme of tonight's show.
It is. Well, we deserve it at this point, right?
Absolutely
Yeah.
you
We've
do.
done our thing. So, and then this is a black and white.
Oh, I love this.
Large image. It started as a small color study. I teach art, and this was years ago. I was teaching a gaggle of little kids on the beach in Magnolia, and it's just been hanging around. And Suzanne, the agent, was interested in something maybe black and white, and so I translated that into this piece. And
that's wonderful.
yeah.
Okay, we've got to move along. What else do we
Move
have?
along.
Now this is where you're
that's-
real.
And these
This
are
is
the
one of the
oil
portraits,
portraits?
yeah.
Isn't it
This-
beautiful?
The name of this one is, thank you, Her First Call from the Sea. And it is a portrait of a friend of mine who babysits this adorable little girl. And she's a great photographer. She had this little girl over at her house in Magnolia, and she just intuitively, she's like 2.5, went to this bowl of shells and put it up to her ear, which I just think is amazing. And so I saw my friend's photograph, and I said, would you mind if I translated
Yeah.
this? You know, so it's not literally, I mean, I went in kind of embellished it and so forth, but
It's beautiful.
thank you.
It really
It's
is.
a beautiful and clever name, too.
Yeah, that's how I feel, you know. And this one is called Populations. It's actually very large. It's 30 by 34, maybe.
Oh, wow.
And it too is an enlargement of a small sketch I did. I'm always sketching. I always
Yeah.
have a book with
Right,
me, and so yeah.
That's beautiful. I mean, and here you are working
Oh,
on.
this is
you're working on
yeah,
the,
this
on
is
the
my
petition,
studio.
right?
Exactly. I was working
It's a
on
nice space.
Yeah, it's tiny, but it works.
As long as it works for you.
Yeah, it works.
When
I
you're
think
when
it's-
you're working on pieces,
Yeah.
do you set an environment for yourself?
Oh, you know, I parented 2 boys, and I basically, whenever I had some time,
Go in and get
I
it.
just go, and I don't care what condition the studio is in or whatever, but I just relish whatever time, and so I'm fast.
Yeah, that's
to be
great.
fast.
Do you work on multiple pieces?
Yep, always.
Yeah.
And now this time of year, I'm trying to kind of get caught up in framing mats and pieces for the holiday
season.
sale.
Yeah.
But typically, I have 3 pieces going. One is a piece that I've just, started, and I kind of have an idea of what I want. The second piece is something that I think is ready, but I'm not quite sure, so I put it physically a little bit further away. And I'll look at, is it ready to sign? Is it, do I have anything more to say? So that one is like almost at the end. And then I try and have a third image where it's just, I don't care, whatever the heck happens to it, and I'll have something on the color palette like it. And
all these years I've been asking that question, you're the first person to tell me that you actually physically work on putting pieces in the right position in the room.
Oh, yeah.
That's fascinating to me. That's kind of really cool.
Oh, yeah, thanks. And I don't know if we have enough time, but...
We have 2 minutes.
2 minutes, okay. Part of my working procedure, actually, and again, part of it is being a busy mother. Now I'm an empty nester, so I have no excuse, but... I basically had a shelf built in my master bedroom that I can see from the bathroom, from the shower. And it's physically like probably 20 feet away.
Okay.
And I have these pieces there, and I'll take a shower and I'll look at it every so often. I'll say, oh, God, that really stinks, or I'll say, that's not bad,
That's really involving yourself in your art.
Well, it's you have to do what you got to do.
Helen, how do people find you? What's the website they can go to?
It's HR Kamins, HRKAMINS.com.
Helen, thank you. Do you have a show that people should know about?
Oh, I have some sales. One is a holiday sale at Studio 13 in Beverly. There's a group show with Suzanne. I have some pieces in Florida in the studio.
That's fabulous. Helen, thank you so much. Let's get you back really soon.
Thank you. I would love that.
I mean, I know you traveled down from Manchester by the sea, but when we drive by on Thanksgiving, I'll wave, okay? Thank you so much for being here. It's been my pleasure to have you.
Thanks so much.
Listen, gang, thanks an awful lot for being here with us. This was a great show. I love bringing artists into the studio to talk about how they do things. I learned something every week, and I learned something new today. That was fabulous. Tally, always, thank you very much for being here. Val, thanks, kiddo. We'll see you next week, right?
Yep.
Listen, gang, get out there and do something artful for yourself. And I need to say this, and I think it means more today than it's probably meant in a long time. Please keep in the forefront of your mind with everything you do each day. Our mothers, fathers, sons and daughters, aunts and uncles, nieces and nephews on foreign soil. Please think about them, give them a call, say hello, paint them a picture, draw them a drawing or something. Okay, guys?
Yeah.
Thanks, Helen. I appreciate it. Val, we'll dig you later.
Dig
We'll
you
see you
later.
next week, guys. Thanks for
Bye.
being here. Bye-bye.
Bye.